All right, Sarah, good to have you with us, and we'll continue to watch that in New York City. But let's talk about what President Trump is saying in his latest truth regarding the Apache helicopter shot down by Iranians. I'm pleased to bring in our panel. Hogan Gidley, former Trump campaign National Press Secretary, former White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary. He's joined by Brigitte Gabriel, National Security Analyst, and she is the chairwoman at actforamerica.org. Okay, so we knew that the Apache helicopter had gone down off the coast of Oman. We knew that the pilots were safe, but now we know President Trump is saying the U.S. must respond to this attack. I'm going to start with you, Hogan. He wouldn't be saying this if he didn't mean something, but let's just frame it. What is the response? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean militarily. What do you think President Trump is thinking of in his array of options as a result now saying Iranians shot down this helicopter over the strait?
Well, he will be presented with a whole host of different options. He'll get to choose which one he wants. I can just tell you, having worked for him and being in that building when things like this do occur, he is not a fan. In fact, it makes him quite angry when other nations attack our military, our American citizens, our U.S. troops. And in this particular instance, Donald Trump was just fine trying to get people to the table and work out some kind of deal. But as many speculated, once you start to harm our, not just our interests abroad, but our literal people abroad, then we're going to have a serious problem. And I expect Donald Trump to act swiftly. I expect him to act decisively. Now, granted, that doesn't necessarily mean a military action, as you just point out. But the time for action is now. Donald Trump knows it, and I expect him to do that.
All right, it could derail, of course, diplomacy. And I think why this is also very important, Brigitte, from your perspective.
Hold on, Bianca.
Now...
Hold on. That couldn't derail diplomacy. Iran has derailed diplomacy on multiple occasions now. So Donald Trump responding, I know you weren't saying that, but Donald Trump responding doesn't derail diplomacy.
Yeah, no, I wasn't.
They just did that. Yeah.
Yeah, they did do that, but President Trump has given them time and time again to come to the table to get diplomacy done. So if they continue to attack, the result is perhaps a delay in diplomacy here. Because how can a deal be imminent when you have the president at 12:38 saying we're going to respond to the attack? That doesn't sound like respond by sitting across from each other and continuing on negotiations when we're so far away with red lines. But to this point, what I think it does show, if we await President Trump's next move, Iran apparently thinks it's okay to shoot down an Apache helicopter, just like on Sunday, after the IDF goes into Beirut to fight Hezbollah, that they can fire at Israel. They're emboldened, Brigitte, and obviously it looks like time is going to be very short for them if you take Hogan's been in the room situation here. But why did Iran think it was going to actually be successful here? And this could have gone the other way if this Apache did not have the 2 crew members rescued.
Well, for Iran, success means staying in the game and appearing that even after America has been beating them, bombing them, America and Israel, they're still alive and fighting. They need that morale boost for their own fighters, for their own troop, and to save face. Remember, honor in the Middle East is everything. And for them also, they are willing to fight until the last soul and the last breath. And it looks like in the last few days, they were really egging the president to come. They wanted to create problems to drag America back into war. So they were looking for a fight, and I believe they are going to get it because, like Hogan said, the president is not going to sit on the sidelines. They just poked the lion. The president, if there is one thing, President Trump may be many things. One thing, he is not naive. And he knows exactly how what the Iranians are doing and how they are operating. And he loves the American people and American soldiers, that he is not willing to allow one of them to be in harm's way. And when Iran attacked like this helicopter, that was the worst thing they can do. And you know what? It is, in a way, it's good that they did it because we need to go back. We need to finish the job with in Iran. This whole diplomacy going back and forth is just a waste of time. They need to finish the job.
Is it a waste of time, Hogan? Because President Trump is seeking peace. He's seeking a stable Middle East. He's seeking to get rid of the largest state sponsor of terrorism. And you are fighting, as Brigitte just points out. They'll fight till the end. This is an ideology. It's not as easily just won and lost on a battlefield when it is in the minds of these crazy, insane people, Hogan.
Well, Brigitte knows full well that the only thing the Iranian terrorists understand is power, is might, is military prowess. And Donald Trump has exposed just how weak they have become and how strong we are as a military. But that all has stopped in lieu of a potential deal of some kind that brings peace to the region. I don't know what levers of force Donald Trump can pull now that brings him to the table, because we can't trust Iran.
Right.
But Donald Trump knows all of those things. Maybe he's holding out hope that we can get them to agree to something.
Can I just jump in, though, Hogan, because the messaging thing, and being, in these rooms, President Trump is saying a deal is imminent, 2 or 3 days away, and now today he's saying we must respond. So which is it? Is it imminent, or are we now getting into something? And like Brigitte said, Iran has caused this now, poking the bear. So were we actually close, or was Iran just stalling, like everyone was fearful of? A deal that cannot be done because they cannot be trusted.
Donald Trump is in these rooms. He's having these negotiations. I think he believes the peace is really close. But when something like this happens, now you've got to change the calculus, because as you continue to attack America, expect us to attack back. We were on a path to peace beginning at the end of last week, and then they lobbed and attacked Israel. Israel responds, and now it changes the calculus. The same thing applies here. Once they settle down, then they attack one of our guys. Then you got a whole nother set of problems.
It's a lot of problems, and we obviously know that there's political pressure on President Trump as well. Brigitte, as you look at where we go from here, what the potential response may be, what are some of your bigger concerns? There's also been, the back and forth that's been aired publicly with President Trump and Netanyahu saying, I call the shots, and some of Vance's comments have been, according to some of our reporting, that this will be a win for America, maybe not sitting well. So there's also that separate situation here with the leaders and making sure that how does this end in a way where there is potential for more stability? Expansion of the Abraham Accords, it feels like that could have been something that was tangible just a few days ago still.
Well, both leaders, Trump and Netanyahu, are under immense stress. I mean, this has been going on for years. But then again, they have a very deep friendship. They have known each other for decades. They have worked together. We are in the trenches together, fighting together. Of course, there's going to be little disagreement, but it's not going to be what the mainstream media is reporting. Reporters love to exaggerate any little disagreement between Netanyahu and Trump because they want to show there is a divide. They would love to have a divide between America and Israel. America and Israel have one end goal: peace and prosperity in the Middle East. That's what Trump wants. That's what Netanyahu wants. And the only way we get to that point is by basically defeating Iran and eliminating the mullahcracy in Iran. That's the only outcome that will bring peace to the Middle East. And as a matter of fact, all the Arab leaders in the Middle East, when you look, even Lebanon wants peace with Israel. Lebanon is against Hezbollah, which has destroyed the country. When you look at Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Egypt, all these Arabic countries are basically on the side of Israel. So what you're looking at in the Middle East, all the countries are coming together. They all have the same end goal: peace and prosperity. And the only problem is Iran. The mullahs in Iran, and they need to be eliminated.
Well, Strait of Hormuz, obviously one of the biggest contention points. Fortunately, the Navy was able to use this cutting-edge drone boat to rescue those Apache pilots. That is the best news, of course, that they are safe. We await the president's decision. As he says, the U.S. must respond to this attack by Iran. Hogan, Gidley, Brigitte Gabriel, I certainly appreciate your analysis. I know this is a story that's continuing to develop throughout the next few hours. Thank you both.